Hello and welcome to another video. So in the last 24 hours or so, Epic have finally released some access to the MetaHuman creator, their new cloud-based app for creating photorealistic digital humans. And like many, you've probably requested an access and are waiting for confirmation, and it's taken some time. And I'm sure Epic have been absolutely inundated with requests, so it's going to take some time perhaps before they confirm anything. However, in the meantime, many people have perhaps overlooked the fact that if you go over to Quixel Bridge from Megascans, you can download and access 50, that's 50 MetaHuman presets already created for you, and which is fantastic. I mean, so if you want to dive straight in and are eager to get going, then rather than waiting for access, I would go over to Bridge and start downloading some of these assets. Now, if you've already got Bridge and you haven't noticed it appear yet, it's probably because there's a new update. And if you're missing this icon here on the left hand side, that probably means you just should check for updates, and it'll probably tell you there's a new version of Quixel Bridge, and you need to download it. If you don't have Bridge, then I would recommend you do so, because if you want to get access to all the really cool Megascans content, this is probably one of the best ways of doing that, and also being able to download it and then export it to your Unreal Engine scene. Now, in terms of the MetaHumans, there's a few things here. Now, what I'm going to quickly show you now is how you can download this data, but not put it into Unreal, but put it into Maya. And I'm going to be using Maya 2020 because that's the latest version. Unfortunately, that actually works with this technology. The 2022 plugin's not available yet, and I think it's probably because Autodesk have changed the Python version now in 2022, where it's Python 3 by default, and I think the previous plugins for Quixel are still in Python 2. So there's a little bit of catching up to do, but I'm sure they'll get round to it. Now, the first thing you need to do, there's a few things you need to do first of all before we start this process off. Obviously, make sure you have Bridge installed. Make sure you've got access to all the MetaHumans here. You're then going to have to install the Maya plugin. Now, I've already installed mine, but what I'll do is, if we start from a fresh slate, and we'll choose this character here. Now, first off, you can start MetaHumans from this portal, but obviously I can't at the moment because, like many, I don't have access myself. But if you choose this character, you want to go down to the very bottom here to this little kind of gear icon, and you've got two options. We'll look at the download settings first. Now, the download settings will talk about textures. So you've got all these textures to choose from. These are the ones activated by default. I'm not going to change any of these. You can choose between JPEG, EXR, or JPEG and EXR. That's entirely down to you. And in terms of models, you can see you can download the entire LOD set as well. So you've got some really rich data sets here to play around with. The main thing you need to do, though, is the Megascans format will be FBX. Now, the MetaHumans, you need to make sure you've got the U asset and the source asset selected, because you can choose either one of these two, but make sure you've got this one selected, and you should be good to go. Now, if we go back again and look at the export settings, this is where you choose your export target. I've got Maya installed because that's what I've got at the moment. Now, if we were to go to, say, Blender, it'll say download plugin. So you click download, and it's downloaded, and it will say install plugin. And that'll be the same for Maya, Unity, Houdini, Cinema 4D, all these options. It's the same process, really quick, nice and easy, and that's it. Now, if you boot up Maya 2020, you just need to make sure you've got the plugin loaded. And if you've got this shelf activated here, this MS plugin, and you've got this option here, then you know that the Megascans plugin has been loaded and you're good to go. So that's all you really need. There's one last thing you need to check as well. If you go into your preferences, and what you need to do now is check the rendering, the settings in the Maya viewport. So what you want to do is, for the display rendering engine, make sure you've got DirectX 11 activated for viewport 2.0. If you've got OpenGL or these ones activated, it will work, but you might have some issues with textures because this is a real-time asset. This is a real-time asset, and therefore it will have a real-time shader attached to it. So you have to make sure that option is activated. Okay, so you need to keep Maya open, and then we're just going to go over to Bridge. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to choose this this character here, and we're going to download it. So you have to download it first, and then you can actually do the export. Now, this might take a long time, but if we just click download here, and that will trigger the download, and then you've got a little icon here, and that will give you an idea of the progress. Now, depending on what you chose in terms of the number of assets, the resolution of the assets, that will obviously dictate the download time, plus with your internet speed as well. So this might take some time. So we're going to leave that running. But what we'll do, we'll move on to one of the assets that I've actually already downloaded. Okay, so I'm just going to choose one of the assets I've already downloaded, which is this guy here. Once it's downloaded, this option here will change to export, and you're now ready to export this to whatever target you chose. In this case, it's Maya. We're just going to click export, and it'll say export into Maya. Now, nothing will appear to happen, but what you've now got to do is go over to Maya, and you'll now get this confirmed dialog appear, and it will say, do you want to continue with the import, and just make sure that any unsaved progress is going to be lost, and you're just going to click yes. And now you get this progress window, and now you just have to wait. Now, this will take some time. I don't know how long. It might depend on maybe the speed of your machine. It took several minutes for when I did this earlier, and you just have to be just a little patient with it, because sometimes the progress bar will stop and it will appear to hang, but just sit tight and just be patient, and it will eventually load. Okay, so that's the import process over. That took about 3 to 4 minutes on my machine, but we can see now it might look a bit odd here to begin with, but you just need to give it time for the textures to load in a way Maya kind of brings them in, just to make sure. There we go, and it's popped in, and we've now got our MetaHuman in place. Now, the first thing some people have noticed is that they'll say, well, hang on a minute, where's the hair and where's the clothing? Now, Epic have actually said on their forums that that's not supported when you're bringing the data in from Quixel's Bridge. You can go to Epic's page for MetaHumans for documentation, and it will say here about that, just confirming that for some of the assets, it only includes the face rig, clothing, hair, and the body rig are not part of these assets that are included. If you want to know more about how to use MetaHumans, once eventually you get access to the creator itself, or just some of the background and details about the technology and the rigs and the data, Epic have started up a documentation site here. I'll include a link in the description below. It will show you how to get going with a creator, how to configure it, and some of the platform support and specifications. If you want to know even more, there's actually a forum as well, which is already becoming very active, and it will probably have some of the basic answers to questions that people are already asking about how they start to combine some of this stuff with existing technology. Is it going to be clothing, custom clothing, all that kind of stuff? Then there's already quite a lot of options and answers here already. So I'd really do encourage you to check this out as well. And again, I'll include links in the description below. But then once you've got this, you can then take it into Unreal if you want to. But the cool thing about this is now you've got it inside Maya, and you can now start exploring all these really cool controllers, because there's such an amazing face rig here. It really does give you so much control, and again, it's all updates in real time. If you go to the layers, you've got all the different LODs there as well, for the head and also the body, so that's all there. You can also turn on the skeleton is turned off by default, and also the show option is not there as well, and you can see just how many nodes you've got. So yeah, that's it. That's basically how you get the MetaHuman rig into Maya. So I think this is a really good option if you're looking to explore what's going on here, if you're looking to bring in any data, or combine it with any data you've already got inside Maya. You can bring it all together here, and then once you've got it ready, then you can export it into Unreal. So I hope that was really useful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.